to that.
So, Doctor, before we begin, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. I'm Berdine van den Toren Lekkerkerker, and my name gives me away a little bit. I come from the Netherlands, where my husband and I live in Groningen, in a city in the north of the country. And we have 3 children, but they are all grown up, so they have their own families.
Okay. So, Doctor, was it always your passion to do missionary work since you were a child?
Well, I don't know if it was my passion. I know it was very important in the family where I grew up. So my parents were very aware of mission and the importance of mission. So I grew up in a small Christian community, and mission was definitely on the agenda there. So from childhood I've heard stories and seen images, etc. I think it's in meeting my husband, my now husband, that we very soon started dreaming about mission, being open to mission, but then really anywhere in the world, you know, that could be in our own city or anywhere else. Yeah.
So I can take it that your husband is a missionary himself?
He is, yes, well, we both are. So he is a professor of intercultural theology now at the university, the Protestant University in the Netherlands. But we've worked both in theological education since, basically since we married, yeah.
Yeah, Doctor, if I remember correctly, you are quite fluent in Dutch, English, French, and you can read German. So, can you tell us how we can rotate between so many languages on a daily basis?
Not always very well, because sometimes I have the tendency to mix languages in one sentence, and that's not nice. So it depends on what context I'm in, and then I think in that language. So I'm regularly not aware of which language I'm speaking, just because we've lived in so many different contexts. So it's really become part of who we are, I think. Yeah.
I think I can relate with you on that, because we in Malaysia, we are a multicultural country.
Yeah.
So as a person, we may be fluent in a few languages. I myself am fluent in English, Cantonese, Mandarin, and Bahasa Melayu. So I can sometimes kind of juggle within languages which I am not aware of when conversing with people in general. Now, Doctor, you've worked in Africa for a very long time. Can you tell us a bit about your experience in Africa?
Yes. If I should give it one word, it would be formative. So we've lived as a family for 8 years in the Central African Republic, which is right in the center, the name says it, right in the center of the continent of Africa, where we were involved in theological education for the whole of French-speaking Africa. So there was a school that was started by the Evangelical Alliance for Africa and Madagascar. And they had one school for French-speaking Africa in Bangui, in the Central African Republic, and one in Nairobi for English-speaking Africa in Kenya. So we were at the French-speaking one, and yeah, so we lived there. We lived on campus. In a sense, we became part of the family of that campus. So everybody came from very different cultures. So it was very multicultural contexts, and that was our home. And that has shaped us a lot and become very important to us, also for the people we are and for the people we are before the face of God. So it's shaped our understanding of God a lot. So that also meant that now, after we moved back to Europe, I became connected to this Church Mission Society, Anglican mission organization in the UK, and they continue to send me back to the CAR preferably each year to continue to teach a module or support in some other ways.
Doctor, if you don't mind me asking, of all different parts in the world, different countries, why Africa?
I think that was God's plan. When we saw the advertisement for this particular post, Benno and I, my husband and I, we had to look on the map to see where the Central African Republic was. We had never heard about it. But it was really, it was an advertisement that spoke to our hearts. But because we were busy with another project, which was also, we felt, our calling, we put it aside. And it was 6 months later that my husband and I looked at each other and said, "Do you still remember that announcement?" And we both said, yes. And so we looked it up and we contacted the people and we were the first. And so just a very short time afterwards, we were in training and were sent out. So it really wasn't necessarily our idea, it really...
God's planning.
Yeah, sure.
Doctor, you mentioned a bit about Church Mission Society. Can we go a little bit into detail what Church Mission Society is as a whole?
Yeah. So it's a very old mission organization in the UK, based in the UK. They started in 1799 already. One of their founding fathers is William Wilberforce, who was in Parliament for the abolition of slavery. Now that's sort of the beginnings of that organization. And they are based in Oxford, and we moved to Oxford because of my husband's work. So that's how I got connected to them. They are a mission organization who really seeks to live out, let's say, the 5 marks of mission, which is proclaiming the gospel, teaching, so discipling, helping those who are in need, and working towards just structures and caring for creation. So that's really what they are aiming at, and preferably at the edges of, where people are afraid to go. Yeah.
So far as you've explained what CMS is, I think it's a bit similar to what AGT is from
Yes.
South. What are the core differences between CMS and AGT?
Well, CMS is worldwide, whereas AGT is very contextual within the Asian context. And we all know Asia is very diverse in itself as well, but at least, it has more of a boundary there. AGT is a training program for mission leaders who are already working in their ministries, in their missions, so that they come from Asia and they're working within Asia, but then often still working across boundaries of difference, so cross-cultural, interreligious, etc. And this program is really designed to train them, to support them, to give them a space and a time to reflect, to deepen their understanding and their practice of ministry. So so that's what AGT really wants to do. And CMS is, as I said, it's much more a broad mission organization. So in that sense, less focused than AGT. And AGT, of course, is very much based here in STM.
Yes, I agree. Doctor, do you think AGT can go further? Because from what you said, AGT is, well, when they are trained, they will only pastor in the Asian region. Some may go further, but not many. Do you think AGT can go to the extent that participants can pastor internationally?
Sure, if they're called to do that anywhere. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So even, one of the visions of AGT is as well that mission is not in projects and activities. Actually, well, mission is living mission. It's your whole spirituality, your whole life is mission. And so wherever you are, and maybe you're a businessman called to work in Northern Africa, but you are called to be a missional person. So that would already be part of that as well, right? It's living mission. So sure, we have mission intentions and actions, but they come from being a missional person, and that's what AGT finds very important. Yeah.
I kind of agree with you on that, Doctor. Now, do you have any suggestions for AGT in the sense that it can expand further this program?
I think it expands further in the people who are trained already. So, that's the idea of a training center in itself, isn't it? You train people and they go out and they will train others. So I think that's a big emphasis. So what you learn, you share. And that goes and that multiplies in a sense. I know there are also that people are seeking opportunities to bring the program in itself also, for example, to other countries within Asia, and then to contextualize it more within that particular context, which of course is very important too, in order to be able to respond to the true questions of that area. So that would be something beautiful as well. Yeah, definitely.
Before we end, are there any words of advice to the listeners?
Well, I don't know who the listeners are.
Yeah, but
because I'm just a guest.
Yeah.
I think if you have an opportunity to take some time out and reflect on not just what you normally do and how busy you are, but on what is really the core of your being and calling as a child of God, then why not do it here at AGT? Because you're rubbing shoulders with so many people from so many different contexts with very diverse ministries, and but also just sharing life very practically. So you really get an insight into living missionally in any place, and that may really enrich your life.
Doctor, thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. It's actually my first time interviewing someone from overseas. So
there you go.
Yeah, I'm actually quite nervous, to be honest.
Oh, you did very well.